Hey Focus fans, it's Alex Worley. I am here with Gianna Wurtzel. She is a co-founder of One Roof Co-working in Venice, and you also have a location in Australia, right?
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me the motivation and inspiration behind starting this.
So I was living in Australia for the last 4 years. I've been home a little over a year now. And I always knew that I wanted to do something with women, right? I always wanted to work in female empowerment, but a saying I think it's from Australia that they have is, how long is a piece of string? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, what does that mean? There's so many different facets. I met my business partner whilst I was living in Oz. She was working in female empowerment. I had started curating these unique dining experiences for women. So I got to see the way that putting a shared experience at the center of the table, what that did for the way that we interact, as opposed to going to a networking event or it's very awkward, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was doing that. She was running large scale events. She's an ex-attorney. I worked in strategy. We came together and had this aha moment where, like, physical space, women, working, entrepreneurship, let's see if we can bring these things together under one roof, which is what we've done. So it just kind of was a very organic thing, starting in a passion project and then migrating it over to becoming an actual business.
The atmosphere you create is so unlike any typical office atmosphere.
Yeah.
There are no cubicles. It's the opposite of stuffy. Why did you feel it was so important to disrupt this traditional office formula?
Yeah, I mean, look, offices were invented by men 200 years ago. So
little outdated.
Yeah, a little bit outdated. So it came to me when I was working in advertising at a really cool firm, and we had fake grass and we had a bar and we had, giant Jenga, and it was a very, very cool environment. That being said, we were still in an office. So fluorescent lights, gray carpet. So it doesn't matter what you do, the foundation was just didn't have that same feeling. So that's why we decided to go with homes. The space that we have in Melbourne is in fact a commercial space, but the way that we've curated it is very different. Like we have a meditation room and an outside garden, and it's really beautiful. So the reason why we did that is because we're coming from a female perspective. So just because it's been done that way doesn't mean that it needs to continue to be done that way. So I think it's just about taking a step back and saying, okay, how else can we facilitate creativity? What's a more rich environment for people to connect? And that just for us at the time was creating a home-like environment as opposed to the traditional office space.
Yeah, because in order to be creative especially, you need inspiration. And 100%. Fluorescent lights aren't always the most inspirational, but you have like this beautiful garden and so much that sets it up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we are, as women, we just are more nurturing. The way that we interact is just different. So I think for us, it's about embracing that, which is what we're doing. So that's why we've chosen those environments.
Yeah, and you've created a very supportive atmosphere where you really encourage people to collaborate. Do you have an example of a collaboration perhaps that's come out of One Roof?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one example that I use often because it's just such a beautiful showcase of the way that we function. So one of our members, her name's Patricia, and she's got this beautiful concept called Tree of Life Kitchen. And it's basically a one-for-one concept. So for every dinner that she throws, the profits from that, she then sets towards putting on a dinner at a charitable organization. So she came up with this concept. We saw it come to life and help support come to fruition. So she came to me and she's like, okay, I need these things. I need a chef. I need a photographer. I need to partner with a charity. Do you have anyone in mind? And all of the things that she needed for this dinner to come to life came through the One Roof community. So that's like a multitude of collaborations, but in a really seamless way.
One of Empowerista's big values is that together we're stronger than we are apart, but society also often tells us that we should be competitive with each other. But you see firsthand that no, we really, really as women and people in general can help each other.
100%. And I mean, a lot of our members are coming from corporate backgrounds. So they have been in those environments, and a lot of them coming from fashion, real estate, they can be quite cutthroat industries. And they've had some pretty difficult experiences, particularly with women, where they're not being supportive. And that's the thing that I think one of the many experiences that people have when they come to One Roof is that it is super collaborative. We're very transparent about the challenges that we're facing, because we're all coming in going, oh, it's amazing, I just raised $1 million, we're totally fine. And the person next to you is, about to cry because they have $5 left in their bank account and they can't seem to get over the hump. It's like, how are we then supporting one another? So transparency and support, I would say, are some of our core values.
And that's a gift, to be transparent, because when that girl is crying and saying, I only have $5 left in my bank account, she's giving another girl permission to then reveal something about herself, and it creates this supportive atmosphere. So if there's a woman watching who's thinking about starting a business and she's hearing payroll, taxes, like bank accounts and all these logistical things, it can feel so overwhelming at first. How do you simplify it so you can digest it and have it not be so overwhelming?
Yeah, so I'll take one thing that my dad always said to me, and it's one piece of the pie at a time. So if we can remove the judgment that we place on ourselves on a daily basis in regards to, I didn't get to that email, or I didn't do that thing, or I haven't done enough today, and just do the best that you can every day, you'll be fine. So one piece of the pie at a time, and ultimately you can learn any of these things. All of the information is out there. If you're not sure, come to us. We will tell you. We're more than happy to support. But it's all achievable. It's all possible. And we have people every day that still tell us, like, oh, you want to achieve that? That's your vision. That's what you're trying to do. You're crazy. You're never going to be able to do that. And my business partner and I just go, okay, thanks. You'll see.
I love the way you've incorporated spirituality into the workplace through things like meditation. You have a yoga studio at your Venice location. So why is this important in the workplace?
Yeah, so I guess it goes back to the same concept that we were talking about earlier in regards to why we've created these spaces in the way that we have. And ultimately just disrupting what's been done previously. So as entrepreneurs, I think that we're told in order to make it, whatever that means, raising capital or whatever those markers of success are, which we also don't believe in, but that you have to work yourself to the bone. You're not exercising, you eat like crap, you're not sleeping. We actually don't believe in that at all. So we do think that you have to find balance between your mind and body in order for your business to thrive. So that's kind of the position that we take. And so therefore, it's a really good challenge for my business partner and I, because at times when we're so busy, it feels like I just don't have time for that 20-minute meditation, or I just don't have time to go to that yoga class. Who are we if we're not actually in practice for the things that we're preaching in the community? So we just find that it's really important to have balance. So so that's why we encourage those kinds of practices within the community.
And I think some critics would say that, oh, it sounds good in theory to incorporate meditation or yoga, but they maybe don't know somebody who's been successful and incorporated this lifestyle. But you probably know a ton of people who are successful and have made lots of time for having a healthy lifestyle, right?
Well, yeah. And I mean, ultimately, I'm in Venice, right? So I mean, throw a stone, and it's meditation and yoga and sound baths, and it's everywhere, which is beautiful because it's widely accepted in this community. And it's something that in Melbourne we're incorporating more and more, because the kind of the spiritual aspect or the wellness component probably isn't as prevalent. But yeah, I mean, I know tons of people, and actually some of the more successful people I know do have daily practices, whatever that might be. I do Vedic meditation twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon. And ultimately, to take those 40 minutes a day makes me so much more productive and so much more clear and so much more rested that it's silly for me not to. Particularly as busy.
I think that's the key is if you think that success just comes from hustling, then this formula is not going to make sense to you. But if you see it as, okay, you're going to be more productive 100%. And it's going to help your bottom line, I think it's easier for people to wrap their head around.
Yeah, exactly.
And lastly, what is your definition of empowerment?
Empowerment to me means keeping the belief even when you feel like there is no belief left. So pushing on when it feels like everything is stacked against you, but pushing on anyways, because that's where I feel the most empowered, is through the persistence that both myself and my business partner have had to see our vision come to life.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Yeah, so inspirational. And let us know what your definition of empowerment is by using #Empowerista, and we'll show you some social media love.